to another AWS live stream. Today we're going to be going over AWS innovation. So let me share my screen and then we can get started. All right, so welcome to AWS innovation. Section 1 starts off talking about what is design thinking. So design thinking is a method that is mainly used for the purpose of comprehending people, questions, problems, and solutions. It's used to turn ideas into physical and evaluable products as soon as possible. And the design thinking framework itself consists of immersion, ideation, and implementation. There are 5 stages of the design thinking process, and these stages are not always followed in a specific order, and they can often occur at the same time and repeat numerous times. They empathize discovering the target audience, or empathize as a step itself talks about discovering the target audience, learning more about the audience, such as their problems and necessities. The other 4 are define, ideate, prototype, and test. Define needs to determine the problem statement and focus on users' needs. The problem statement is a guiding tool. Ideate means to collaborate with others with different areas of expertise. And in this specific case, you want quantity over quality. Prototype is where the goal is to create a product that can be evaluated and critiqued. And the test is where users will provide feedback that will ultimately help determine if your solution is viable. And this helps to save money in the long term. The Cloud Innovation Center. So this creates a chance for nonprofit institutions, education services, and government departments to work with other public sector companies. It collaborates on issues of high importance and can help test issues using Amazon's innovation process. Here you can harness the technology of AWS, and any nonprofit institution, education service, or government department can register to work on an assignment. On an assignment. So what is a culture of innovation? Amazon aims to be the world's most customer-centric organization, and they do this to 4 main customer sets: consumers, sellers, enterprises, and content creators. There are certain characteristics of an innovative culture. Hiring builders, failing fast, working backwards, and 2 pizza teams are a part of this. For hire builders, you want to hire builders with different backgrounds and points of view in order to make decisions. For fail fast, you want to try all possibilities and be accepting of failure. For working backwards, you want to constantly drive customer-centric, ingenious thinking, and this is used to make sure that the product is actually what the customer needs. For 2 pizza teams, you want to hire efficient workers in order to minimize communication and unnecessary meetings. And it's named 2 pizza teams as an innovation team should require no more than 2 pizzas to feed a small and efficient team. This is the formula for innovation. It's culture plus people plus tools and mechanisms equals innovation. This is a video on design thinking, and it'll be posted in the description of the live stream. Section 2. The 5 W's of innovation at Amazon. What is innovation? The successful integration of new thoughts into society. Where does it take place? Everywhere. It can range from inventing something to improving it. Who innovates? Everyone. Innovation is the way one goes about their work. When does one innovate? Every section. It occurs because of ongoing events and unexpected circumstances. And why innovate? Because everything depends on it. Innovation creates new opportunities to serve customers. So these are the models of innovation. There are numerous models, and they each have their own pros and cons. And the way to categorize them is by separating it across the continuum of both continuous and discontinuous. So for continuous, innovation is described as incremental, evolutionary, and reactive. And it's the more linear type changes for the constant increase over time. For discontinuous, innovation is described as disruptive, revolutionary, and transformative. These are nonlinear and abrupt changes. And you can see an example of this in infancy and adulthood, in the picture that's on the right side of the screen. So the innovation process. The most common process to uphold innovation is known as working backwards, and it depends on working deliberately according to the goal and shared thoughts. It's constantly injecting innovation into independent and teamwork, and it requires working backwards from the customer. This means to constantly come back to the customer's ideas for solving problems, and to work repetitively while continually reevaluating the problem at hand. Working intentionally. So this is both intentful and determined, and it siphons AWS's customer obsession into solving a certain conflict. Organizations work specifically in order to make sure that their business decisions are orderly managed, and teams work purposefully together. Individual workers take the lead and ownership of their own efforts in order to optimize innovation. And there are starting places for working intentionally. One of them is the vision, and this is an idea of how certain things could be contrasting to how they are currently. It contradicts conventional wisdom, and it's rigid on the vision but relaxed on the specifics. There are also mental models, and these are basic ideas that act as the base for generating ideas. They raise ideas from the ground and provide them with superior direction. They're formed as a statement of cause and effect, and they create new ideas. Working backwards. So these are made up of 5 customer questions. Who is the customer? What is their problem or opportunity? What is the most important customer benefit? How do you know what the customers want or need? And what does the actual customer experience look like? The objective of these questions is to maintain the customer's importance and keep them involved in the innovation process. And this is a video on the innovation process.
So my name is
The description. Section 3 starts off with talking about working iteratively. The innovation process becomes iterative, especially during execution, and many ideas never get past the analysis phase, and this is called analysis paralysis. Execution is when an organization chooses to commit to an idea, and because of this, they'll hire a leader and a committed team. Successful execution leads to experimentation, and this is the heart of success. However, the research that takes place has to be limited to answering specific questions, which is related to serving customers. One way doors are decisions that are difficult to return to once they have been made, while on the other hand, two-way doors are decisions that are reversible and they're made quickly by superior groups and high-level individuals. Where do ideas come from? There are 4 places on this slide. The first one is expertise and a beginner's mind. Opening a mind influences perspective and helps for new ideas to emerge. It prevents personal bias, assumptions, and limitations. Irrational optimism and grit. These are ideas that are commonly accepted and should not be neglected immediately. Resilience is extremely important as it helps one make their good idea a reality, and being misunderstood is not always a negative. The next one is listening and imaging. So these are ideas that come from visualizing a customer's idea before they can do so themselves. You want to get to know your customer and you want to put yourself in their shoes. A great amount of AWS's ideas came from actually listening to their customers. And finally, on this slide, we have history and science fiction. This is where ideas come from a combination of both failure and success, and ideas can be inspired from external sources. Now let's talk about what a PRFAQ is. So a PRFAQ stands for press release and frequently asked questions. And a press release is a one-page narrative that describes AWS's vision using customer-centric language. A press release is used to envision how the customer is going to react to their product, and it helps to sort through ideas. Also, it ensures that ideas are worthy of investment. These are elements of the PRFAQ. This is a skill that takes practice to master, and it's known as a crafting process because of the draft and edit system which is used. Here you share the plan early for feedback from superiors, and FAQs are developed to answer questions that a customer may have. There are two types of FAQs: the customer FAQ and the stakeholder FAQ. The customer FAQ is imagining that you are the customer and writing questions and answers that a real customer would have. The stakeholder FAQ is questions that your superiors or partners may ask. It's crucial to identify difficult questions early when working backwards and incorporate these as both customer and stakeholder FAQs. Now let's talk about a visual. So this allows one to explore the customer experience, and it's used to show how the customers will use the product and how they want to use it. As the project matures, the visual can become more detailed. And visual representation is how pictures, images, and diagrams express ideas. Visual presentation maximizes the effectiveness of a presentation itself. This is a video on working backwards, and it's going to be in the description of the live stream. Alright, section 4 starts off with talking about an example of a visual. So here on this slide, we can see an actual example of a visual, and it shows how the customer is going to use a product for their benefit. The main point of a visual is to show how easy it is for the customer to actually use your product and to show how they can use this product themselves. Okay, so these are some Amazon leadership principles. These have been incorporated in Amazon since 2002, and they can explain how Amazon conducts business, how leaders manage, and how decisions are formed for customers. So there are 17 leadership principles, and you can see all of them on this slide. The first one is customer obsession. Next one's ownership, invent and simplify, all write a lot, learn and be curious, hire and develop the best, deliver results, insist on the highest standards, think big, bias for action, frugality, earn trust, dive deep, have a backbone, disagree and commit, deliver results, try to be the greatest employer, and success and scope bring great responsibility. So the first two, customer obsession and ownership. For customer obsession, leaders begin with consumers and work backwards. They work diligently to maintain customer trust, and they focus on customers and keep competition under a close eye as well. The skills required for this are humility and empathy. For ownership, leaders are equal to owners, and they plan for the future and they don't sacrifice the future for immediate gain. They represent the entire community and they take the initiative to help out. The skills required for this are persistence and integrity. Invent and simplify and all right a lot. So for invent and simplify, workers are required to provide innovation and invention to their work. They always work to simplify matters, and leaders constantly search for new and innovative ideas. The skills required are diligence, flexibility, and the ability to be misunderstood. All right a lot. So this is where leaders have good judgment and intuition, and they look for different perspectives and work to disprove beliefs. The skills required for this are humility and optimism. And this is another video on the leadership principles that's again going to be posted in the description. Section 5 starts off with learning and being curious while hiring and developing the best. For learn and be curious, this is where leaders are never satisfied and always look to improve themselves. They're always curious about new opportunities, and the skills that are needed are learning and being diligent or consensus. For hiring and developing the best, you want to acknowledge outstanding work and willingly promote them. These leaders create other leaders and seriously consider their coaching of others. The skills required for this are being courageous and being able to invest. Delivering results and insisting on the highest standards. So for delivering results, you want to key in on the main suggestions. Despite problems, you want to persevere and never settle. And the skills required for this are just commitment and being able to deliver. Insisting on the high standards. So this is where leaders have incredibly high standards, and they're constantly looking for more, and they're motivating their team to produce superb products. The skills required for this are being exceptional and uncompromised. Think big and bias for action. So thinking big is where leaders encourage broad thinking. They encourage ambition across the working place at all times. The skills required are being innovative and optimistic. For bias for action, speed is very important in business, and a calculated risk taking is a valuable skill. The skills required for this are risk taking and speed. For frugality and earning trust, frugality is maximizing spending efficiency, and limits lead to resourcefulness and clever thinking. The skills required for this are creativity and adaptability. For earning trust, leaders must listen, speak, and treat others respectfully. They have to know that their employees are not perfect. The skills required for this are trust and honesty. And diving deep and have a backbone. For diving deep, leaders conduct business at all levels and are up to date on all details. They're expected to push through any problem that they may face as no task is under them. The skills required for this are being detail oriented and demystifying. Having a backbone, disagreeing, and committing. So leaders can make tough decisions, and they have to have a strong view and be ruthless when they need to be. The skills required for this are having conviction and cohesion, and delivering results and trying to be the best employer possible. Deliver results. So this is viewed by employees as a highly important principle, and here you rise to the occasion and be a leader. You deliver results for certain products and take responsibility for ideas that you have created for a product. For trying to be the best employer possible. You want to be a leader that has the objective of making their work environment a cooperative and safe place. Employees must be able to share ideas respectfully with others, and employers have to make sure that employees are growing, empathized for, empowered, and ready for what's next. And finally, success and scope bring great responsibility. The size of a company matters, and this is because it gives them power over consumers. Since Amazon is one of the largest companies on planet Earth, it empowers customers, gives power to the commander of the company, and helps the company expand beyond its size at the moment. So that's it for this presentation. Thank you for watching, and in the next presentation, we will cover Amazon startups. Thank you for watching.